Hello, morning. Now what's this? This is a bike that we haven't seen for a while. You might not have seen me on this at all. I think January 2024 was the last time that I rode this in anger at Swinley Forest with the Hot Chilies. And I've got a pile of parts for it, which I have been firing the parts cannon again. And I'm basically going to replace the worn out drivetrain. This is pretty shagged. It's got the wrong rear mech on there, and yeah, it's just basically it's unrideable at the moment. So I hate having bikes that I can't ride in the garage. So I'm going to refresh this. Right, so let's have a little bit of a closer look at the drivetrain. So we have a Raceface 32T chainring, nice sharp teeth there. Then we got a SRAM 1180 cassette there. I think that's 10 to 42 teeth. We've got a SRAM X7 rear mech. That was put on in an emergency after a crash in the Alps. This only shifts up to, I think it's probably 36 teeth. So I've never been able to use, since this has been on, I haven't been able to use more teeth than that. And I think this is a SRAM chain. DT Swiss E1900 650B wheel. The thing about these, of course, the important thing which did catch me out is this has got the XD drive for SRAM, so you can't just put a normal Shimano cassette. It has to be a special XD drive cassette on there. This is the first SRAM cassette that I've ever had, and it's the first XDR wheel I've ever had. And I didn't really know how to remove this, but I did look it up on the internet, and it should just remove with a normal cassette cracker. So I have my box of various cassette crackers here, and I was playing with this earlier. I think this one fits best. So yeah, that's just a normal Shimano cassette cracker. That goes in there. Use the chain whip and a spanner as well. So hopefully this will come off fairly straightforward. Now I've broken my golden rule here. I normally will always wear gloves because you always slide and skin your knuckles, but let's give this a go anyway. Oh, that is not very tight, is it? So what's going on there? That's hand tight. Yes. That's the XDR drive, so looks like that could do with a bit of a clean before I put the new one on. So I will put that to one side for a moment and carry on removing the other parts. Right, the chain next, and I found my tool that I was going on about that I'd lost the other day. So here's the chain, here's the quick link. Stick that in there, and that should be it. Yes. Okay, so Allen key in there, and remove the cable first. That looks like a 5mm. Yep. Okay. Cable's seen better days, hasn't it? And this should just, there you go. Now the chain ring is a direct mount, so it goes on the axle here rather than the bottom bracket. First thing I need to do is remove this crank bolt here, and I think that's 8mm. Fortunately I have a nice handy 8mm with a grip tool. Just wondering if I need to remove this. Yes. So now the 8mm and this is going to go anti-clockwise. Yeah. Okay. Right. Now I can put a bit of weight on it that it's secured on the floor. There we go. Right, is that going to come out easier now? That's it. Right, that's loose. There we go. Self-extracting as well. Right, so again, delving into my crank puller box. See a bottom bracket tool there, and that fits in there. Yes, there we go. Oh, that is the lock ring. Okay, all right. Yes, okay. Right. Well, it's actually fairly straightforward, wasn't it? Despite the fact I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, something else that needs a bit of clean, as well as this. Some alpine mud there from my last visit in 2022, I would suggest. That's looking better. The thing I haven't mentioned in this build so far is that I'm changing from SRAM 11 speed to SLX 11 speed, at least for the shifting, and that is because the shifting lever and the SLX cassette combined are far cheaper than the, it's not X7, I think it's X9 or X10 SRAM, appropriate SRAM derailleur, which is ridiculous price. But I have gone for the SRAM cassette, and I initially bought an SLX chain, but I'll use that on something else. I've gone for the SRAM chain and cassette, but shifting with the SLX material. So that shouldn't make any difference because it's race face on SRAM and SRAM. I just need to take this off. All right, this is a Torx T25. There you go, as easy as that. Right, so that's nice. The shifter comes with a new cable and full outer. I'm not sure the full outer will go through the frame, but I'll give it a go. And various bits. Right, so this is going to be mounted here. First thing I've noticed is that it doesn't have a split clamp, so I'm going to have to remove this because it goes inside the brakes. And also this, but fortunately I do have a screw-on grips, so it should come off and on, back on, fairly straightforward. Right, the SLX shifter is on, the new cable is there to there, sorry, the new cable outer, the new cable inner, new cable outer there, new cable. This took far longer than planned, but that's always the way, isn't it? Right, I think this is fairly straightforward. 5mm Allen key, it's got a stop on the mech hanger, so that just bolts straight, or screws rather, that just screws straight in there. There you go. Cinch it up. Okay. Right, so we've got the wheel, which has been cleaned since the last time you saw it. I'm going to put a bit more lube on the threads there. All right, let's get that on there. Lay that on there. Get this, and then it should just screw up. And that. Right, the cassette is on. Yep. Right, so let's put the chainring on. Looks like there's a sticker in there. So that's going to be facing outwards, isn't it? Does it matter which way it is? I don't think it does. That sits on there. Like that. Then this, I don't think it needs any lube. And I'll dial in my 40 Newton meters into my left arm. Where's that crank? That one's there. So this one's going to go up there. Is that because I just need to start winding? Yep. Alright, I'll tighten that up when it's on the ground. I'm not a big fan of these because you're never entirely sure when they're on properly. Right, the chain guard can go back on. I'll just do it up loosely and then adjust it once the chain's on there. Right, so the rear mech is on, and I've just adjusted the high and low screw. It's actually a 2mm Allen key, and you'll notice that I've done it without the chain on because that's the most natural that it sits there, and you can see that this cog is right underneath. Can you see that? It's right underneath the smallest tooth on the cassette, and then when I push that in there, that again is right underneath the largest cog. In fact, it's interfering with it, so I'll need to adjust the B screw once I've got the chain on. But now that I've got the settings pretty much right, I can do this up. I know that that's not going to cause me any problems. Chain's on. Didn't even need to take any links out. I've indexed it and it seems to be working quite nicely. So that is it. It took me a little bit longer than planned because of the through frame cabling, but you know, that's the way it goes, isn't it? Right, hope you enjoyed it. Till next time. Ooh.